And we are live. Welcome back, Mr. Brad Chester. Woo, look at that face. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Brad?
Magical.
Magical. We are here for our weekly top players debate, where I make Brad look like a fool as he offers up paltry counter-arguments to why Elder are bad. We all know in our hearts.
You think that you made Brad look like a fool. Brad made himself look like a fool. I take full credit.
Works every time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. What we are doing today is, well, it's the same thing we do every week. And this is where Brad and I take a bunch of community questions and we talk about them, we debate them, we answer them. So if you're watching this and you think to yourself, golly gee, Brad, man, I would like them to answer my questions. Let me tell you how this works. One, Brad is a man with low standards. If you drop him a shiny thing in the chat, perhaps even a super chat, he's gonna read it out loud.
Instantly.
Like it'll happen. He will cut me off
in the middle of one of my sentences also.
Yeah, he will cut me and himself off if there's a super chat that he can do. All right. Brad, you ready for this? Are you ready for this? All right, we've got a main topic, which you can see by looking at the thumbnail or the subject of the video. We're going to give it a couple minutes. We're going to let everyone get in here. So everyone, start watching this video. And also, if you're hanging out here, click a like. I'll also give that little sales pitch. Where are we pulling these questions from? We pull them all from the Art of War Discord. So if you want to get in the Art of War Discord, it's real simple. Go to our website, theartofwar40k.com, or you can become a member right here on YouTube. You can become a member of the Worm, where top-level players like myself, Nick Nadavati, Richard Siegler, Mr. Brad Chester are there to teach you how to get better at the game that we all love. Plus, the Discord is an awesome global community. It's very welcoming and relatively on-topic. As on-topic as a Discord that has Brad in it could possibly be.
That's true. I will take every Discord off topic.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Bradley. Before we dive into the main event, let's pull a couple questions off of our little
from the
list.
wall.
Off the wall. All right, first question from Cooper. Who's angrier, Angron or Scarbrand?
Well, Scarbrand did get his wings ripped off by being thrown through the warp for 8 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to hurt. It's going to leave a mark.
And that was after he got tricked by Zinch. In the ultimate, bro, come on. You can totally take Corrin. And Angron has basically electronic nails stuffed into his head to make him angry. So that's a tough one.
So it's nature versus nurture, right? Like Angron is artificially angry.
Yeah, the thing is Angron was supposed to be supernaturally empathetic. Was his main big Primarch power.
Mm-hmm.
Then he became not that. So he is not that. I would go with, you can't go with a force of nature like Scarbrand. Scarbrand's so angry, he makes everyone around him angry and attack harder. So it's Scarbrand.
Scarbrand's angrier? That's fair. I mean, I think I'm going to agree with you.
Sadder.
Angron is very sad. I don't want to spoil the latest Siege of Terra novel for anyone, but I think I agree with you. I think Scarbrand is the biggest mad. All right. Okay. You know what? Let's tell you what. We're not going to be here next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. Actually, a week from today is Thanksgiving. So Lyle Dixon has asked us for a mini tier list of Thanksgiving sides and dishes. Brad, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Mm-hmm.
Stuffing.
All right. Man, I should have gone first. The stuffing is 100%
amazing.
right.
You go, if you get a plate and your plate doesn't have turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing, you are a communist and you should be beaten with a turkey leg.
Oh, beaten with a turkey leg. Does that include everyone who's not an American and doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving? I assume that a Brit like Adam Lane would also need to be beaten with a turkey leg.
Well, we're going to beat Adam with a turkey leg anyways.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm with you on the stuffing. I'm a big fan though of like stuffed potatoes. Really like potatoes. I honestly, any type of potato is gonna make me pretty happy. Gravy also, like a good gravy makes the turkey.
Oh, green bean casserole! I forgot about that. That is the main thing. Hunter left me on this because my first plate every single time I go to Thanksgiving is going to be turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, green bean casserole, and heaping over like ridiculous, like total Oh, is that an American plate? That's how much I want on my plate.
Yeah.
American size things.
Yeah, and you always go back for like the pecan pie afterwards. I like pecan pie as my dessert of choice, but there's nothing wrong with the traditional pumpkin or apple pie.
Oh, it's Palgay pumpkin.
Yeah.
With a heaping slab of whipped cream.
That's you got to get a little whipped cream on there. All right, let's keep it on the line. Man, this the wall got a little bit wild in here.
The wall did get wild.
The wall got a little bit distracted. You guys got off topic here. So I'll tell you what. Last week's topic was a little bit about prize support in the ITC, pro 40k in general and prize support. And the question was something that we didn't actually address is what if there was like a large prize pool that was handed out among like the top 10 or 16 or so like ITC finishers? Like, do you think that would be good or bad for the game? You think bad?
The thing is that we have to stop being prize support so top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to see the people that are at the top all the time just get more stuff. They want to be involved in these things. We should be doing way more best in faction, overall standing, hobby tracks. Those people should be getting way more things. We should include the community way more. I'm super okay with giving. When I go to a tournament, I'm looking to win a tournament. I'm focused on a tournament. I want some random cool knickknack that says Brad's the best. He's the tallest, the youngest, and has the best hair.
Yeah, Brad is the tallest Eldar player at this event.
But I'm not looking for stacks of prize support. I'm looking for everyone else. I don't know. I'm like an old dad now at Christmas because I want to see other people get excited about getting things.
Yeah.
I want to have my achievement. Like, good job, get the pat on the back, get my cool trophy. And then I like to see other people get excited about the fact that they just got a stack of prize support for being literally dead middle. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Or you just win all year and you're now the best Metawatch player. You know what I mean? You get a big stack of prize support and people acknowledge it. We tend to just blow over a lot of these other prizes and other things. They should be a much bigger deal and get a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of like, nerdy competitive, like esports or equivalents like Magic or, StarCraft or Smash, which are all going to be very different fundamentally from 40K. And a lot of them have much larger prize pools, mostly because they have the backing for it, where Warhammer currently does not and probably won't in the immediate future. But like the question is like, how much would that actually like help? Like, because like people get excited for, their favorite like Smash player, like winning tournaments, getting prize pools. And they get excited for that, even though they themselves aren't getting anything. I think that Warhammer is fundamentally different because so much of the community actively, like the people that are interested in competitive play, so much of them actually play and are at the events.
Yeah.
I think that's the main difference.
But it also takes a lot of time for you to get all your stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, also true.
The thing is I like to, if you want to give away big prizes, I actually like Hunter's comment on this. I agree with this a lot. I would rather see future travel paid for and things of that nature. Like you get a ticket, they get you there kind of thing. That would be an amazing big prize for the winner. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you're continuing it on. But as far as like more prize support, we definitely need to push the prize support into random in the middle and highlight other people for hobby and things like that nature. It's just it would make the community more focused also on the award ceremony. There's tons of times the award ceremony people just bail because they know they're not getting anything. They've got to drive, they got to catch a plane. If you had the chance to get hundreds of dollars worth of prize support, we would make the award ceremony more all-inclusive and it would be more exciting because more people would be excited about it.
Yeah. Yo, Jaime Paris in the chat. What's up? Good morning to you as well.
So many Space Wolves.
Oh man, I know. Just the full Space Wolf in there. Am I going to shave before Warzone? Maybe. If I get off the wait list, I will. I need my ticket still.
You do look like a wild man right now. Wild beard, big hair. You look like you just came out of the woods somewhere. Hey guys, we got a video today. I've been hunting honey badgers.
Ooh, oh wow, Hunter and Jaime are both off Space Wolves right now. I didn't know Hunter had abandoned the wolves as well. That's like the only thing he had going for him.
Oh.
Yeah, oof. I'm sorry, Hunter. All right, let's move on to the main event, shall we, Brad? You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
All right. It's in the title. It's the clickbait. You know, we had to do it. What changes does Games Workshop need to make for 10th edition?
Flyers should be destroyed, never come back.
Okay. Now I get that, and I think we've argued back and forth that I personally think that Flyers starting the game in strategic reserves like they used to would be perfectly fine. But I think that's a 9th edition fix. I think that needs to go in the next balance patch. Unfortunately, Mike Brandt blocked me on Facebook after I kept telling him to fix the game. Something. Jokes aside,
for me, we really have to change how, for me, 100% how stratagems and pregame abilities are used. I don't think it should be the same pool. I'm still a huge fan. If I could just use my stratagems once, maybe there would be a warlord trait to use things twice, or a special ability. You've got AOS that they just have basically command abilities that they have per the datasheet.
Yep.
So we wouldn't be spamming the same 5 stratagems, and that's giving it some codexes like actually have less, where you're just like 2 happen all the time. But we also use all of our pregame stuff based on that. Pregame stuff should be based on points for me. You should just buy it. If you want to relic a warlord trait and stuff like that, we have to appropriately cost them, which is another argument in and of itself. But I want to be able to make whatever the hell I want in my army. If I want to take way too many warlord traits and way too many relics and pay 500 points, you should let me make my terrible army and do that. Stop it. All CP are not created equal. They're
really not.
There's relics and warlord traits that you would take if they were 10 points as opposed to 1 CP. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you would still take the good ones if they were 50 points.
I would pay 50 points for the Reaper of Obliterax.
Exactly.
That's I really would. And I would pay 10 points for the Spearton, which is the Imperial Fist Relic Bolt Pistol. I would pay a solid 10 for that on my captain. I wouldn't pay 15 though.
All of that stuff should be points. It's ridiculous that we're playing CP with that. And also, I just don't even like CP, tell you the truth. Unpopular opinion, probably.
Don't even like CP.
I love this. For Super Chat, 10th edition, I go, you go, fight me. I do love unit activations, but the game is completely not set up for that. I would love to see unit activations.
I wonder, is Kill Team alternating activations?
Everything is alternating activations.
I know Warhammer's not. It is alternating activations. I activate my army, you activate your army. Come on, Brad.
Yeah, there you go. Go for a double turn.
The double turn. 40k being I go, you go is it's not set up for it. I think that's like the one thing that they're never going to change.
We've had another game, I guess, but it's supposed to be a skirmish game in the first place. It would be not as punishing if it was. The stratagem thing I'm very big on is the stratagem are not set up. If you could only use your stratagems once, you would use more stratagems. Mm-hmm. It would also just be more fun. You wouldn't have just that big stack of stratagems that's just pointless.
Yeah.
I literally separate my stratagems into the stuff I'm going to use, the stuff I might use, and the giant stack of cards I'm never going to use.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. I get the stratagem deck for every single army I play, and I'm just like, okay, 70% go back in the box and they get tucked in a drawer, and I haven't looked at them yet. Like I probably still have Space Marines 8.0 in there. And then I've got like the little ones that I put in a card sleeve because I might use them and they're not pregame. And then I've got the 3 that I use all the time that are on top, and those are the ones that I put on the table.
Ooh, I love this one. Boris kills it. Strats are part of the data sheet. They require leadership tests, so having a squad leader is important. I love everything about that. You are my favorite person now.
Can I use the leadership of a nearby synapse creature for that role?
It kind of. You're saying that the leader would be part of what's going on either in the squad or somebody nearby. Yeah. Like you used to be able to attach characters to units, if you remember.
No, I remember, Brad.
Well, you've been playing for a long time. I always forget because you're a baby. But you basically apparently were born, and your first pictures were you moving models.
It's been a while. I've only been playing for 14 years, Brad. It's not that long. So I would love to see. All right, I'm going to go on my rant now, Brad.
Hit it.
All right, so all the command phase abilities Like, every buff needs, like, a little bracketed keyword next to it. You know how we have aura abilities, and it's like, you know, synapse, parentheses, aura, parentheses. Great. Why do they only do that for auras? Why isn't, you know, the Hive Tyrant's Guerrero ones, why isn't that, like, Hive Commander, command in brackets? Like, define a strat, and then limit how many you can get. So, I'm going to go on a rant here. You know, Brad always goes on rants. It looks like fun. So, I'm going to do it. So let's talk about...
Wave your hands around a lot, though.
I'm waving my hands in the air like I just don't care. So I'm going to talk to you about Kasrkins and how I love Kasrkins because they're really cool. And I'm going to talk about how stupid Kasrkins are. A Kasrkin is a ballistic skill 3 model with a rapid fire 1 las rifle. And the las rifle is strength 3, AP 2, damage 1. It's 1 or 2 shots. Ballistic skill 3. That's what it is, right? Okay. This Kasrkin might be ballistic skill 2, might be heavy 3, might be +1 strength, might be a different +1 strength, because, you know, why not have 2 different +1 strengths up? +1 strength against monsters and vehicles, and a +1 strength because Creed ordered me. Okay, I'm +1 to wound against you because you're the warlord. Because like my old grudge is angry at you. Oh, and also I'm +1 to wound against you because you're chaos. Yeah, I'm heavy 3 because of an order. I ignore hit modifiers, though, because of an aura. Oh, and by the way, let's start spending CP now, shall we? I haven't spent a CP yet. Okay, so my 6 is to hit auto wound because that's just my trait. I'm born soldiers. Here's a CP. My 5 is to hit auto wound, and they count as a 6. Yeah, that's going to be immortal as well. Oh, and I ignore phase caps and feel no pain. So my Kasrkin, just ballistic skill 3, 1 shot at 24 inches. Idiot. Just he's a nice guy, right? But he's a 10-point idiot with a good las gun. Great. He gets full rerolls, +1 ballistic skill, more shots, +1 strength, +1 strength. Hand number 2. +1 to wound. Different +1 to wound. Maybe I'll make him ignore cover. I don't know. Let's ignore phase caps at the same time. Oh, 6 is to hit mortal wound. Wait, no. Hand number 3. No, 5 is to hit mortal wound. Look at that. You know, you don't like. You can just put 11 or 12 rules on this idiot with a las gun.
Oh my God. I'm gonna throw something at my screen now.
No, that's just
no.
He can
that's
take
not you.
one.
I'm talking about the super chat as usual.
Oh my God. Yikes.
Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna get that in a second, but I'm gonna finish this rant before I go to Slack Onion. So I don't like that you can take a fine model. A Kasrkin with a good las gun is probably overpriced at 10 points a model. But then you put 12 rules on him, and this idiot with a strength 3 gun now hits Be'lakor on 2s and wounds him on 4s, and his 5s to hit are mortals and wounds.
I mean, you're trying to tell me that a codex put out at the end of an edition has some broken stuff in it?
It's not that it's broken. All of those rules are fine. It's that you put 11 of them at the same time on one dude.
Because no one stacks when they test on stuff. It's a parrot and it has been forever.
Yeah.
Adam and I talked about the fact that they're not 100% sure that multiplication is different than addition. So they stack.
Yeah.
They multiply. They don't add.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, you know, AdMech had the same problem where when you put too many stacking buffs on something, it went through the moon. So here's my rant, is that Games Workshop has amazing ideas. And then they have bad ideas. And when they put an amazing idea in, they never revisit it. And when they put a bad idea in, it sucks. And then they nerf it. And then a year later, they're like, well, maybe this time it'll work. Brad, do you remember the end of 8th edition when GW first introduced, at least the first time that I'm aware of in the last, 10 years, that they introduced a 6 to hit, auto wounds, and counts as a 6? That was the Space Marine 8.5 Codex. And that was busted. You started hyperlooping in cursors. The first time I put in cursors on the table, I had a 5-man White Scar and cursor squad just spend a couple CP next to a chaplain and go blow up a grotesque squad. And my opponent was like, what just happened? I'm like, okay, I rolled a couple 6s and you died.
You forgot that you also had a double shoot strat. So
yeah, it's so the stacking buffs, that example. They saw 6s to hit counting as a 6 to wound is bad. Okay, it was gone for a year and a half.
And then they went all in,
And then they were like, all right, Votan, let's put it back in. And they've already removed it a month. It wasn't even released before they they
if
nerfed
you
it.
see that something's if you already nerf something,
yeah,
and then you take a better version of it, how are you not?
Like,
you're just
their memories are so short. And then
they keep putting the fork in the light socket in the electrical outlet and going, "Hey, I got shocked again." Well, what happens if we put 2 forks in the light socket?
Yeah. So then the third step of this is the guard codex, which doesn't have the problem to the extreme that Votan did, but it is still a big deal. What I would love to see is if GW would learn from their lessons. Something that I thought that they did extremely well in 9th edition. Not Crusher Stampede, but the other 9th edition Tyranid supplement, the campaign book. Crusher Stampede was garbage. It should never have existed. What I love was that Tyranid, that supplement that came out 9th edition before the book came out, where they were like, here's the synaptic imperatives you can buy for your synapse creatures. A unit can only benefit from 1 imperative at a time. And if they had and when that happened, I had a real moment of hope. I'm not going to lie. I did one of these videos like a year ago where I was talking about how, I think this is an indication of a design from Games Workshop. I bet the next FAQ limits how many command phase abilities you can play. That would be a great way to nerf AdMech without making them unplayable, because at the time AdMech were unplayably broken, just like they are today. AdMech are still broken. And they didn't. I went out there and I'm like, wow, GW with a great idea. They're going to use this in every army. It's going to be so good for the game. And you know what I did? I put on my clown makeup. I was like, here we go. I'm the clown now. It hurt, Brad. If they just put command on an upgrade so that you didn't get 5 or 6 different stacking rules. Like, again, it's the fact that I can
each unit gets 1 buff. It's not that hard.
Yeah, they can benefit from 1. You can benefit from 1 command and 1 aura and 1 psychic. You can get 3 buffs on a unit. 3 we can limit.
Sure, you should
not
be
11.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, go to the wall because I need to rant.
All right,
it's going to be.
Let's go to the wall. We had some super chats that are good. We want to get to them. Zlack Onion first. Thoughts on GW claiming Jack took and won with Twilight because they nerfed light Harlequins in the Warcom Metawatch video. I'm gonna go find that because that
eat a bag of baguettes.
That is so polite of you to say. A bag of baguettes.
Yes. Get out of here. That's no. If the Light Harlequin didn't happen at all, the Light Harlequin nerf made absolutely no difference in that. It was already breaking that. Why would they say that? Stop taking credit for things. That didn't do anything. That list didn't get changed at all, and it didn't get. And
like light wasn't even nerfed when
it was made.
Oh my god, I'm like half expecting to watch this and say that I switched, and then to say that I switched to Kraken. If I watch this video and they say that I switched from Leviathan to Kraken, I will kill someone.
Yep, I'm just saying that.
I will absolutely not.
Yeah, they're responsible for both of them.
Ugh, disgusting. All right, American Capitalist with the super chat. Thank you so much, American Capitalist. $10, thank you. We really appreciate your support. New guard, make me want to drink, have some beer money. Appreciate American Capitalist. You have been quite generous with us, and we'll treat ourselves to a nice New Mexico dinner. And
speaking of that, you should always have that on the side. It takes care of most of your problems. For instance, I have a Toxicrete this weekend, and every time it kills something, myself and my opponent are offered a shot.
Your Toxicrane's going to pop off. I hope you trap people in combat.
Dude,
what high fleet are you running?
Big boy behemoth.
Okay, that's I would do better, but that's okay.
I would do better. I mean,
the problem is, Brad, is that you should be memeing harder.
I felt that I memed pretty hard.
Okay,
Toxicrete, but also you have to talk to Horton for this. This is still his baby.
That's fair.
He made this.
What you should do if you're going to bring, which I respect a Toxicrane. If you're going to bring a Toxicrane though, what you should do is you should make it Chronos for +4 inches to its range. That way you can fire its tentacles on the turn that it disembarks from the Tyrannocyte. And the trick there is that you fire the tentacles and hit someone and use the strat where they can't walk away from you.
Oh, Adam has no idea that Toxicrene is going to crush. Jesus. Hold on. Did you do the change? Didn't go far enough because Jack was already showing. Cause yeah, Twilight was actually. Hold on, which I've said in our chat. Twilight was always better.
It wasn't always better, but it was definitely better at in the last 2 or 3 months.
Well, I'm not talking at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The first month of Harlequins doesn't even count.
It really shouldn't. The first month of Harlequins.
That wasn't even a real thing. So I move away. Basically, the first month of a lot of codexes doesn't count. You're like, what does it do? Oh, so no one read any of this stuff. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Adam Lane, the strat is that your opponent has to end any move that they make like closer to the talk screen than I have to reread it, but I'm pretty sure it's that your opponent has to end any move they make closer to the talk screen than they started, and then also like they can only declare a charge if they're also charging the talk screen.
I think you're making stuff up, but it makes me happy.
There's a talk screen specific strat where it walks up and it like hits people with the tentacles and it grabs them, and then it gets a charge bonus into what it grabbed. And the thing that it grabs isn't allowed to like run away from it. Like it can't end a move further.
It's got weird tentacles, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to the super chat. We just ignoring Hootie.
All right, Hootie-O. Well, I'm not ignoring anyone. We are going down the line. Hootie-O, the super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, fellas. Now that you've seen the guard codex, do you think an infantry heavy list is stronger than tank or rust spam? Thanks for a great stream, Hootie-O. First take here. Everything in moderation.
Yeah, the list has so many good things that I think that you're going to be able to make basically old school armor company and stuff like that and make it work. But I do agree with John in this, unfortunately, that there's so many good things that a mix. You're going to take basically a lot of Noah's Arks, 2s and 3s are going to go into that list because there's a lot of
Noah's
Ark
had 3s.
I said Noah's Ark 2s and then you hit
and 3s.
Sometimes people snuck on board, bro.
Fair enough.
You don't know. I was there. But as usual, a balanced list almost always is the best unless you're looking at a team tournament list, and then you can spam into something heavy.
Oh, no. What? No, you don't use teams to spam, Brad. That's boring.
Teams to skew, my friend.
Teams to skew, not to spam. Spam is boring. Rust spam and tank spam is probably going to be really, really good. And I bet it's going to lose some games because people just mess it up. And it's like, oh no, a fire and fading crisis suit unit. Whatever will I do? Nothing. You will not do anything. You'll sit there and you'll die.
You should bomb it into nothingness with Terra with ridiculous OP indirect. We got one of the best super chats I've ever seen, and it speaks the truth.
Peaches the Destroyer. We can talk about the name. I'm not really concerned about the content of the message, actually. Peaches the Destroyer with a $10 super chat. I'm sure that they said something.
Hold on. Don't worry for you. I'll read it in case you didn't see it. I just feel like we need more Brad and more Space Wolves all the time. After all, he's the best host of all the hosts.
Oh, Brad is the hostess with the mostest. I can't fight it.
I am so very tall.
You are just... Brad... You tower over me in stature and every... Yeah, okay. But we should get some more Brad and some more Space Wolves. Feel free to remind Nick that he swore an oath, a vow on Fenris to perform a Space Wolf saga. And since that point, he has not played a game with Space Wolves.
Ooh, I'm recording Space Wolves.
We're like 3 months into that, by the way. Nick has abandoned just the Halls of Rust completely. He's been playing nothing but Chaos Space Marines. He won't play Space Wolves. We try like every week. We're like, hey, Nick, Space Wolf Saga? And he's like, no.
Oh, dude. That's sad. Oh! Wolves.
There we go. All right. Shall we go back to the wall?
Man, I love the fact that you were supposed to keep me on track today.
I did my best. We got that 10th edition conversation for a solid 8 minutes.
I can't be stopped.
8 minutes is the most on topic we've been.
Look, man, there was something shiny. I saw it. I said squirrel. I ran. Mm-hmm. Yep. I kind of, in my mind, the chat is all doing the howl too.
Oh man. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it. It's not as annoying as the Orc Wog. The Orc Wog is the worst. It's that you're playing a game and you hear a wog all the way down the hall, and then you realize there's an orc player next to you, and you're like, oh god, it's coming. And then it happens, and you're like, ugh, orc players.
Matto makes a point in his super chat.
Super chat, Matto, the shiny object.
I'll read it to you because it sounds weird if you direct yourself. It only sounds right when I talk about me.
Absolutely.
Hey, John, indirect sucks, but if guard loses the indirect exception, don't Bazzi's mana core seem kind of meh? I mean, the infantry buff is ridiculous because they basically took indirect buffs away from guard and went, yeah, but like what happens if a guy gives an order and everybody within a 3-mile radius gets the same buff that they had before?
It's pretty good. It's pretty strong. I think guard indirect is perfectly fine with the nerf. I've played 2 games, and I have played as if they do not ignore the indirect penalty in both games. And because no one wants indirect to be too much, right? Except guard players, and I don't value their opinions on this one. Sorry, you don't deserve special indirect. Guard indirect, I've spent 260 points in 4 batteries, and just been like, yep, this is an indirect aspect that I'm going to shoot every turn, but like it's not crazy. It's so hitting on 4s, and I don't have rerolls.
It's so good.
And that's okay. I think that is perfectly fine. Bassies and Manticores do seem kind of meh with an indirect nerf. And you know what? I'm all right with that.
You know what? I want to say that besides Peaches the Destroyer's super chat, this is my favorite super chat. John Ruiz, bring back duels. Characters in their little dance battle circles. Yes, all day long. I would love to tell your character either to fight me or don't take place in this battle. No. That was fantastic.
So like, I'm with it. I do miss that. Like I was reading some Horus Heresy rules, a little bit back, and I see references to challenges. And I'm like, forgot that was a thing. And then it's like Angron. Angron's special rule is he can issue as many challenges as he wants, and he can just rope people in. He's like, he goes into the squad and there's like 5 characters. He's like, I'm going to issue a challenge. Like, I decline. He's like, all right, that guy doesn't fight. I issue another challenge. Like, what? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this until everyone decides if they want it or not.
That was what Chaos used to have to issue a challenge. Not just
he
could.
Just keeps going.
Had to issue challenges. It was awesome. Also, if your feeble character didn't want to fight my character, he had to go sit in the back in shame and not take place in the battle. No auras, no abilities, no anything counted because he was too busy sulking about how much of a little wimp he was not fighting.
That's what I would love to do, right? I would love to have the Reaper of Obliterax walk in and be like, Abaddon, would you like it to be just you and me?
And he would say yes, because he's the Don.
Yeah.
Win or lose, he would still accept it.
He'd accept it as the Don.
Sure, it looks like it's Achilles versus Hector, but still.
He wrecks everyone except for one. One guy walks up, is like, hey, we're done here. Kaiju with another super chat. Thank you, Kaiju. Orc players, who lets them out of the house? It's just too many jokes that I could make. We're going to be very polite to orc players. I'm sure that when they ask nicely, their mother lets them leave the basement.
I just played orcs like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Jack's playing orcs this weekend.
Yeah. Skill rigs. I mean, you get a chance to play Mazra. You basically, there's a couple things in the orcs that should draw you in. There's people riding dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, that's... I like that part.
Yeah, that's.
I like the Mad Max part of orcs the most, by the way. I like the weird buggies. Like, admittedly, they ruined buggies for me. I used to like the weird buggies and all the cool hang-ons and guys they had.
Ridiculous. Oh, wait a minute. Is mass indirect bad for the game? Hot topic. The answer is yes.
Yeah, let's try it one more time just to make sure.
Yeah. Has it been terrible every single time? Yep. I don't learn from my mistakes.
Yeah. Maybe this time 6 is to hit auto wounding counting as a 6 won't be a problem. Maybe this time it will be okay.
How about if we make it a 4 instead?
We got some love in the chat for Exodites. I'll call my shot here.
Yes.
I don't like elves. I don't really want a personal elf army. But if Exodites come back,
Dinosaur riding Eldar, I'm playing that.
If Eldar ride dinosaurs, I would be willing to actually paint. Paint Eldar.
Awesome.
I mean, I would go all in. Like I'd have the display board. I would theme it up. Like obviously what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like have a Torox with like Jurassic Park painted on the side, and it's gonna be getting stepped on by the giant, Tyrannosaur. I almost said Tyrannifex. My brain like tried to autocorrect that.
I got two.
More super chats. Goodness, we are falling behind here. I don't stop though. We're gonna get there. All right. Danny with a super chat. Back to the God Spear missile. Oh boy, we are talking about,
Death Strikes.
Death Strikes. Isn't souping in Custody bikes with a 4 mortal wound save scary to charge the enemy front line and hold them for the mortal wound bomb? I don't know if you really hold them because it's a 3-inch God Spear and they might fall back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just you gotta move out of the way. You're basically saying I'm getting off this objective for a turn. That's what happens.
Yeah. The God Spear is really fun. I'm gonna try Death Strike at some point. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get one so that I can actually put on stream. Mainly so that I can use it against Nick. I really just want to point a bunch because Nick doesn't ask questions. And I'm just gonna point a bunch of guns at him, and then in the middle of turn 1 I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna put this little marker on Abaddon's forehead.
Too, by the way.
Hey, I'm just gonna put this there. It's the Death Strike doing an action. You'd be like, oh, what does that do? I'm like, oh, your entire cluster of an army. There's mortals coming.
Nick would also forget about that and then move half his army in range of it and just be like, oh no.
But after he did that, I would roll 1s and Nick would be like, see, skill.
See, it all worked out.
Yeah.
Go to Josh Gilbert here. Do you really think they're losing the artillery exception when Guard have so many dedicated models that are artillery 100%?
I think they are.
Because if they don't, if they don't, they can literally stack the order on top of it, because the artillery nerf, the indirect nerf, was losing a ballistic skill and an AP. And if they don't lose that, then they actually gain +1 to hit after not losing the ballistic skill and +1 AP. So it would make their already pretty harsh the indirect just buck wild indirect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Buck wild's not good.
Buck wild is not what you want. The indirect is good. The stat line got better. If they take a nerf and the stat line got better, it's fine. The guard indirect is already good enough to take. I think you still will take some indirect if they take an indirect nerf, and that's what tells you that it's a good idea. Because, think about a list if you take the indirect nerf, and it's maybe 2 artillery pieces. If you don't take it, maybe 6 artillery pieces. That should tell you everything.
Man. It's so... Oh, my elves do not want to talk about the amount of indirect. Mm-hmm. You know what? I got to find my safe place. And that is next to a glass of wine.
Oh, there you go. Here's Kaiju with the 10th edition hot take. 2k points is a black hole of time. Should we make 1,000 points the default game size with alternate activations?
No, we should speed up pre-game stuff and in-game things that could only attack one thing. The game goes significantly faster if you don't have a ridiculous amount of things that you have to bookkeep.
Yeah. So a big problem across editions, and we're gonna talk this back into what should we change in 10th edition, and that is that the points creep of an edition. At the start of 9th edition, the very start when they reset the points for everyone, which is my preferred method, by the way, is that new edition.
It didn't even feel like you had that much stuff in the board.
You didn't feel like you had that much stuff. I look at a 9th edition list. I look at a list that I won a major with in the first 6 months of 9th edition. And I'm looking at that, and then I look at the table, and I'm looking at a twice nerfed Tyranid army that used to be that used to cost 1,600 points and is now 2k. And I'm this still has so much more. I won a tournament with a Devastators and a Rhino, 3 Blade Guard and an Inceptor unit. And that was 2k. I was like, what?
My Salamanders had barely anything in them compared to today's army, so it's crazy.
Yeah, and so the points creep across editions, I think, is a big thing that should be avoided.
It's rules book though too. That's what makes the game feel like more. You know what I mean? We need to start doing datasheet powers. I mean, it just makes it so much easier. You literally have datasheet cards. You have the power that you can use or whatever the ability is, the strat, the whatever. Have it on the data sheets. It makes things so much faster. You don't have to look through a mountain of rulebooks. It's right there. You know what I mean? what does your unit do? Here's what my unit can do, and here's the one ability that I can use once per game, once per round, once per whatever the hell you want to make it in 10th edition. Mm-hmm. But that's what it can do. It's literally here on this card, as opposed to going, all right, let's go back to John's example of here's the 43 things I can add to this unit. But it looks like it's a really easy thing. Well, actually, this is what's going on. All right, let's pound these super chats out.
Boom. All right, here we go. John Ruiz with another excellent $10 super chat. He's hitting all bangers today. How about double damage instant kill? I think he means double strength. Very thematic, having a thunder hammer killing an Eldar character when it finally hits.
Of course, never thematic killing an Eldar character.
It is very thematic to kill Eldar characters all the time. Frankly, Spore Mines is very thematic, the ancient enemy of the Eldar.
I actually really like that because it also made certain abilities like Saga of the Bear and stuff like that, where you couldn't get killed double toughness or double strength didn't kill you, because this is an old rule where you had double strength. No matter how many wounds it did, it just auto killed you if you failed your save. And then there was several rules that you could purchase, several abilities that you could purchase for, and it wasn't for everyone either. Certain codexes had the opportunity for it, so it made things a lot more unique. So yeah. I do like that rule.
I would really like it if like there was a little bit in between. I don't think it needs to be double strength, literally instant kills. Although I do miss instant killing Eldar characters because screw 'em. I would like it if there was like
T3 and you could kill us with an auto cannon.
Yeah, I kind of wish that so they need to codify Feel No Pain, where everyone calls it Feel No Pain, and I always feel bad for people who started in 8th and 9th because Feel No Pain hasn't existed since 7th edition. But like, oh yeah, Catalyst gives a 5-up Feel No Pain, and everyone's like, sure, yeah, I've been playing for 2 years, John. What's a Feel No Pain? I'm like, oh, right.
It's a universal special rule. Thank you very much. Bring them back.
Bring them back. Yeah. So all of those things, I think you shouldn't be able to get them against double strength. I missed that part. I don't, because with damage characteristics, I don't think you need to do instant kills. A damage 1 Ravener should not instant kill a Farseer, even though it should.
You're adding a decent amount to that, though, so I don't know. Again, we're just talking about rules bloat, and that's just one more extra step.
That's fair. There's always more. Double strength equals double damage. I wouldn't mind that. Or +1 damage, double damage. I'd be okay with that, too. If you double strength their toughness, you get a damage buff.
That's nice, actually.
I'd be very okay with that.
Certain weapons super scary, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It make the high strength stuff matter a little bit more,
Uh-oh. Ear Elephant's got some stuff for you, John. John, you have the codex. Please clarify if Cadian shock troops can take multiples of special weapons. I keep seeing different answers. Thank you.
All right,
Answer now or be destroyed.
Let me tell you exactly what that means, Ear Elephant. So, a Cadian shock troop unit, the basic troop choice, can take 2 special weapons from a list. However, there's an asterisk saying that you cannot take more than 2 of any of those special weapons. Powerful. So yes, you can have a Cadian shock troop squad. They can have 2 plasma guns or 2 melta-guns, just like that. Why does the asterisk exist? Either GW is really bad at copy pasting, or they're really bad at copy and pasting. Couldn't tell you which one. Either they meant for it to be a 1 and they forgot to change it when they copy and pasted, or it didn't need to be there and they copy and pasted it anyway.
You know what? I continue on. We've got so many super people are awesome today. In the Metawatch, they talked about armies that will always go 4 and 2 at events, but not really get to podiums. What should be done to factions like this? Every army should feel like a 4 and 2 army that your player skill takes over the top. The problem isn't the 4 and 2 armies. The problem is that the armies get rolled by the current hotness. So we need to raise the floor and lower the ceiling. 4 and 2, 5 and 1 armies are basically where all armies should be.
Yeah, no, every army should be at 3 and 3, Brad. Let's be very clear.
I'm just saying that, like, if you're
every army goes 4 and 2.
Yeah, they can. It's Brad math now.
Yeah,
works out. I swear.
Yeah. All right, one more super chat. Let's do it. Peaches the Destroyer. Peaches the Destroyer.
Brad, your safe space is definitely going to be on Grimnar's sleigh with a drinking horn, helping him deliver presents to all the good boys and girls of the Imperium and death to the enemies of mankind. I literally have a space drinking horn literally right here.
Oh.
So I am ready to go.
It's a Miad in there. Mijad. What's the space with alcohol? Like Mijad and Miad?
It's a different version of some. I don't even know how they say it, but it's just mead, but they put in extra letters.
Yeah, there's like a J in it.
Yeah. So, but I am 100% ready. I'm actually afraid for my life because Brian Horton has got much alcohol for me this weekend. Mm-hmm. So I think I will be doing more sitting and drinking and telling stories about Space Wolves and the days of yore than I will be doing anything else.
Yeah, probably true. Matto with another super chat. My hero, Matto. As a Sisters player, I hate indirect as much as anyone. Yeah, that's fair. Screw Tau. But I worry that on 5 objective missions with GW terrain, IG won't be able to force engagements. Taking 2 and 3 up saves versus the heavy guns seems off. So, Matto, my take on that is that the reason why I think Guard will be okay is because they have good passive secondaries. If you're a shooting army with bad secondaries, you have to go get people.
They also can set up on GW terrain. You effectively have to you just take I can't even talk. You take a couple of your big tanks and you hard flank and you set up gun lines down the side where you can see the objectives, and you can just outscore anybody except for like Necrons. If you take 3 objectives and they have 2, you're still winning that game. Their secondary game is strong enough where if you can say you never get to go to the middle and you can't come to my 2, you're still winning that game. And to be fair, if you just sit and take a billion indirect shots, even if you're taking a 2 or a 3 up save, you're just failing. You know, a decent amount of those where you're just going to, over 5 turns, they're just going to churn you off that objective. It doesn't matter how awesome your save. If I go, John, take 52 up saves, you know, he's still losing a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. It's quite a few.
Hot take: if you roll a lot of dice, eventually you roll some ones. Mm-hmm. Write that down.
Yeah. Well, most of us do, Brad. Not everyone is going to roll ones.
Sorry, if you shoot Siegs, he will disrespect that. He's like, I'm not dying to those things. 100% save rate. That's not even math. It is to me.
Yeah. But before we wrap this up, I want to give my favorite Brad story. My favorite Brad story about dice.
Oh God, which one?
Oh, this is my favorite one. So this is at GW New Orleans. Brad is just the tournament's over. Brad had a very respectable second place finish, and he's talking to me about, and he's complaining to me, to be clear, about how his Archon always rolls 1s on his shadow field. And he's like, oh God,
then I went buck wild. The one time I go buck wild.
Yeah, Brad.
This is also, let me preface this though.
No, Brad, this is my story. You can save the story afterwards. I'm telling the story, Brad. Get out of here. All right. So Brad comes up to me after the game and he's like, man, like the Archon he just always lets me down. Like, I got charged by Rust Stalkers and the first save was a 1 every time. Like, oh wow, that sucks. And like in my mind, I'm like, okay, you lost the Shadowfield on the first save against the unit of Rust Stalkers. Archon died. Very unfortunate. Maybe if he makes some 2-ups, he lives and fights back. Totally a normal story to hear. And I'm just like, yeah, like
boss loaded 5-up invones, baby. Who needs a Shadowfield?
And then I'm hearing this story later from Richard, and Richard is complaining about your Archon with the Rust Stalkers. And I'm like, hold on. Didn't he roll a 1 on the Shadowfield and get smoked? And Richard's like, oh yeah, he rolled a 1 on the first save, and then he went 9 for 10 or like 15 for 16, whatever ridiculous number it was, on 5-up invones and didn't die.
I actually went 7 for 9.
All right, 7 for 9 on 5-up invones to not die. And I'm like, hold on. Brad came up to me and complained about that sequence of dice.
About the Shadowfield thing, because I had not made a Shadowfield save the tournament. I kept just rolling a 1. I was bitching about I wasn't bitching about the result. Mm-hmm. I was bitching about his cheap Walmart discount Shadowfield he bought off the internet, because that thing did not work.
Well, 2-up invones shouldn't exist, Brad. You should be punished for trying.
I apparently was.
Good.
Also, that was the only game that he actually performed. Every other game, he basically went, I failed a Shadowfield, pummeled that game. I was like, ooh, cool, he's still alive with 1 wound. Pound Town.
Good. Peaches the Destroyer is hopping into the super chat. Feels like every time we call out their name, Peaches the Destroyer, Brad starts to cry a little bit inside from not being as great.
But Brad.
Chad Brester is just not as good of a name as Peaches the Destroyer. I want to know the background on this.
He destroys.
No, I feel like Peaches the Destroyer is actually like really good at like Mario like Wii Tennis. And they've like taken over the whole circuit.
That is true. I'm gonna give an old man story real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, there was absolutely no one that had an Invuln besides special characters, and only some of them. For a while, I think we gave Terminators a 5-up, and if you wanted a 4-up Invuln, you had to be a character. Oh, cool! You guys want to check out my website again? I'm spamming it just to make sure everybody knows about it. Yep. How does that show up all the time?
What is this?
Look at the chat.
Do I have it blocked? What's? All right, I need to block some people. Ugh.
Loving my town. Just go to bradchester.com. I'm coming to your town. Exactly, it's Brad in my town. Weird thing is, that's not even a naughty site. I just want people to take me out to dinner. I'm just broke.
Sorry, we're just waiting for Brad Hugs to be the real prize support. One day, Mike Brandt's gonna fly Brad into the GW Invitationals. He hasn't earned a spot, to be clear. He's gonna give each finalist a 10-second hug.
A very inappropriate.
No, it's a reassuring back pat.
Just tap, but I never let go.
Yeah, it's a good hug, and you whisper in their ear, "I'm proud of you, son," and then you don't let go.
I like that. Yeah. I think that people would pay for that.
I would, absolutely. Trade a bottle of wine.
You ready to dance our way out of here?
I think it's that time. We got a busy day here at the Art of War. I've got a War Room game coming up. We've got a clinic together later, so if quite a few people mentioning Guard in the chat. Well, if you want a little bit more Guard, check out the War Room where Brad and I are going to be talking about the Astra Militarum and the new codex in a clinic later today, but only after we talk about these super chats that people sneak in. God, you know what? We're not going if you guys keep super chat. I'll hang out here.
Oh my God, I need to tell this story now, or his story, just the super chat.
Oh geez,
I'm going to do these out of order because this sounds like a Brad story. Peaches came for a really interesting party with too much booze mahal, a few axes, and some delicate peaches that needed destroying.
A few axes and literal peaches.
Oh, I love everything about this.
So and out of this, we did not get the destroyer of peaches. We got Peaches the Destroyer. Were the peaches the ones that did the destroying? I like to think that like there was a peach, and someone who perhaps had a lot of H2O that night was like, I'm gonna hit this peach with an axe. And it's like Lord of the Rings, where Gimli swings his axe at the One Ring, and the axe just explodes. And
what kind
there's
of
a
water
smoking
are you drinking
peach.
That it was too much water.
Too much water, maybe too much chocolate milk if they were going really crazy. That's what I assume a party is like. And then like swinging the axe, and they hit this peach, and it's just like boom, the axe explodes. And like, oh yeah, that's Peach the Destroyer right there. Like you shouldn't have swung on that one.
All right. Josh Gilbert, do you still think that Guard vehicles are still losing armor contempt? Other than Russ's, they were just auto die to all the AP and damage in the modern meta. Everything can die to anything in the modern meta. So 9th edition is vicious.
This is the one that I'm not sure of. I think indirect nerf is going away. I think Hammer of the Emperor is going away. I think that the Order Aura thing that they have is going away because a lot of that is redundant with the new book. And then the artillery one, I think, is just balanced. I don't think they want indirect to be broken so soon after it was already broken. Yay. But this one I'm not sure on. I'm playing without Armor of Contempt. But the main argument for them keeping Armor of Contempt is Chaos Space Marines.
They did keep that.
So I would... If anything from the balance patch sticks, I would guess it's Armor of Contempt, but I'm going to say 60-40 odds that Armor of Contempt is also gone. 60-40 though. It's not I'm not betting money on that.
I love everything about some of these chats, by the way.
Yeah.
I saw what you did for a Klondike bar. Call me. Brad, I take you out to dinner. Tyrannosauruses are confirmed cannibals.
Oh no.
I'm getting murdered.
Oh no. I love Peaches the Destroyer just hanging out here giving us the stories, spreading their saga. The saga of the saga of the peach.
Saga of the peach. That is now I'm definitely making some sort of campaign rules for the Saga of the Peach. That would be in the next one.
What? Oh, jeez. All right, we're gonna have to come up with that, and we'll be back. You ready to sign off, Brad?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, you'll notice that next week is American Thanksgiving. If you're an American, you probably already knew that. If you're not an American, I'm so sorry. But maybe find a friend to celebrate Friendsgiving with instead. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. So for now, we're going to send you off with a commercial for the worm. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. We appreciate having you here. Appreciate you keeping us company on this wonderful morning. Brad, always good to chat, my friend. We'll see you next time.
There's so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.